Welcome to episode 59 of the Whatnauts review show, where every week we pick a story and we talk about it. This could be a movie, TV show, anime, manga, comic book, audio drama, all kinds of entertainment. We watch it, read it, listen to it, whatever we need to do, and then we come back here and we discuss it. My name is Melissa Wilkinson, and I am joined, as always, by Kyle Springer.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Kyle.
Happy
How have you
Memorial
been?
Day weekend.
It is. It's a Sunday, but because we both have tomorrow off work, it feels like a Saturday.
Yeah. We're also recording this Sunday night, which is a little bit different. So everything is a little bit different for us behind the curtains. You guys won't know, except maybe it's darker in my room, but...
Yeah, it might be slightly dimmer if you were watching the video feed of this, because we're recording at night instead of at like 11 a.m. in the morning. I had a good morning. I postponed this because I wanted to go have a nice brunch with my mom, and we took a trip to our local history museum.
Nice. How was that?
Yeah, nice. It was good. Like, good holiday weekend festivities. We went to the history museum because they had an exhibit all about our favorite local theater.
Nice.
It's been around for 100 years, so it's plenty of history and plenty of neat artifacts to go look at.
Cool. Was it all like set design and props from all the plays and stuff that they did and stuff like that? Posters.
Yeah, like all the old programs, all these old costumes. Like, here's the Hello Dolly dress we used in 1997. Here's, a wooden cart that we used in these productions of Fiddler on the Roof, and then we repainted it and reused it for this production of Newsies for them to carry the papers in, and lots of neat little details for a big history nerd like me. History nerd for this theater specifically. I've been going to this place since I was a kid, so it's like, yes, I was at that show, I was at that show, I saw that production. I've seen the show, but not that year. I saw it the other year, so it was a great time for me to just nerd out about that.
There you go.
Did you have yourself a fine? That's a good weekend.
That's all I did. I read some old Spider-Man, some old Batman. I played some video games.
How old?
So the Spider-Man, I was reading issue like 153-ish, around there. So it was
These numbers don't mean anything to me.
So it was mid 70s, I think. When it is.
Wow.
And then I was reading some Batman from the late 80s. I've gone back to slowly reading through all of the post-crisis DC universe stuff, which might not mean that much to you. I know your brothers are into comics.
I know there was a crisis that they had on a whole ton of Earths, I believe was the name of the event.
Crisis on a whole ton of Earths. Yeah, it's that. It's Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it's all of this stuff. Shortly after that, is that what I'm writing? So, what happened next? That's what I'm doing. We're not here to talk about Batman.
No, we are not. We are here to talk about season 1 of Gravity Falls. Woo. This is what we watched for this week. This is a Disney Channel cartoon that first aired in 2012. It ran for 2 seasons. We watched the first one, and this was created by Alex Hirsch.
Good stuff.
This was a show I watched while it was on, and I really enjoyed, and you had never seen before.
Hadn't seen before. I just popped my Gravity Falls cherry. Is that one of your pet peeves?
I feel like that's a sort of phrase we should reserve for very big special things and not like just any show you've not seen before.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you did a handful of stuff. You're like, I'm gonna pitch things that I've mentioned that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
what a great theme.
I've brought up this title before, and you're like, I have heard of that, and I have heard that it is good. And I'm like, well, Kyle, it's the beginning of summer. This is a summertime show. Try it. And you did try it. And what were your findings?
I loved it.
Good.
I thought it was amazing.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. Funny story. I have a friend who I only know through the
Mhm.
internet, and so like over the past year or two, we've been kind of getting to know each other and
Yeah.
stuff, and she has a multitude of pets and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And when I mentioned that I was watching Gravity Falls, she goes, "Oh my gosh, I love that show. Waddles is my favorite." And I
Oh.
was only on episode like 2 at like I had just started it, so I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know what that means. I haven't met a Waddles yet. Uh, and so we got to the episode where they introduce Waddles, and I happened to see this one scene, and I filmed it because it reminded me of this person. I was like, "Look,
Mhm.
it's you!" And
Aw.
I sent it to her, and then immediately after sending that to her is when they named the pig, and I was like, "Oh my god, and it's Waddles! I knew it was you!" It's like it worked out perfectly.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, I really liked the show. I thought this was probably one of the funniest shows on that I have watched in a long time.
It
Just
is really funny.
yeah, not even just like, oh, it's a kid
Mhm.
cartoon kind of funny stuff.
Yeah.
No, this is
It's
actually really funny.
yeah, it's not like goofy and silly. It is that sometimes, but it is legitimately funny. And it's
Yeah,
a when it wants to get spooky, it gets legitimately spooky. This is a mystery-based show, and
sometimes,
I feel
yeah,
like it also succeeds on all the mysteries and, thriller aspects of it that it wants to do.
yeah.
Synopsisize it to
To synopsisize
synop.
a
How do you
synapse.
verb a synopsis?
I don't know.
These are more mysteries. This show is about these twin 12-year-olds named Dipper and Mabel, and they are sent to live with their great uncle Stan, who they call Grunkle. They are sent to live with him in this little town called Gravity Falls, Oregon, where he runs a mystery shack, this kind of roadside sham of it's what is this mysterious animal, and it's like the head of another animal glued onto the body of another animal, and he's like, it's so weird, look at it, pay $5 to have your picture taken with it, and then buy a t-shirt on the way out. So the kids are sent up to live with their grunkle for the summer, and then they find this mysterious journal
Yeah,
that indicates that there are real supernatural happenings around Gravity Falls, not just the stuff their grunkle makes up. So it's these two kids solving mysteries, encountering different fantastical, mythical creatures, and just becoming closer as a family and experiencing all
hmm,
of these. It's this teen coming of age story, and like they're growing up and figuring things out on a multitude of
kind
levels.
of figuring out the town too. Of just what is
Yeah.
up with this town? What is really going
Yeah,
on
this
here?
is a really good, like, spooky town
Hmm.
show. I think every time we've encountered anything that involves a spooky town, I'm like, it's good, but I don't know if it's like Gravity Falls good.
It's a high bar
I
to
think so,
to
yeah.
match up to. Yeah, I think that about covers it for synopsis stuff. I don't really have anything else to add to that.
Let's go on to housekeeping then.
Yes.
Audience, if you are listening to this as a podcast, we want to make sure that you know this is also available on YouTube as a video.
Absolutely.
You can look at me and Kyle talk about these things. You can watch us, and then also, if you are supporting us on Patreon for only $1, you get access to these special live streams of these recordings. You can get on Twitch, you can watch it live while it happens, you can talk to us about it. Who's your favorite Gravity Falls character? You could be telling us right now if you gave us the dollar first.
Exactly.
We're not Grunkle Stan, we're not, absolute scam artists, but we would like that dollar,
I mean, if
please.
you give us $5 more, maybe we'll let you take your picture with us. But
Virtually.
we will have T-shirts soon, someday.
Yes, these are all our goals. We have to get on the stands level.
Yeah,
We need Mystery Shack amounts of merchandise.
exactly.
Hmm. And we have been busy with cool new episodes lately. Last week's episode
Absolutely.
of the review show, that was one you had pitched.
That was Attack the Block.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Not
It took me
necessarily a kids show, but yeah, it is a good like hard hitting, very
yeah.
fast paced sci-fi action horror movie.
Yeah.
And
That
it's
one was a
very
lot of
anime.
fun. Yeah, it took me a second to remember because I watched it, like, the day after you pitched it to
Mhm.
me, so I had more lead time, and I'm like, "What when was the last time I watched something for the podcast that wasn't this? What was it?" But this is not a forgettable movie by any means. Lots of fun. We had a great discussion about it. If you want
Mhm.
more just monsters, if you listen to this episode and you're like, "More things about monsters, please," you can check
Exactly.
that one out.
We also just did an episode of the Captain's
Mhm,
Log. We got to hear about Melissa's time at the wedding that she just went to. And
mhm.
I made you do E3 predictions for
Yep.
2019, even though
Not
you're
knowing a
not,
s
yeah,
I don't know a
not a
single
video
thing
game
about
fan.
video games, so I was just acting like a magic 8 ball, and I'm like, "Seems likely," or "No, probably not," based on no context whatsoever.
Exactly. I
So it
think
was
it'll be a
really
lot
fun.
of fun to go back and look after
Mhm.
E3 has happened and see what we got right.
Yeah.
I guess a little last but not least, we also have a episode of the review show that is Patreon exclusive. The
Yes.
most recent one we did on that was Shrek Retold,
Mhm.
but we're also going to have one coming up in the next couple weeks here on Mob Psycho 100 Season 2.
Yeah, we watched
Look out for that.
season 1 here in the main feed, and we wanted to revisit it, but it's been such a short time, we're like, "Let's not bring it up in the regular feed again." That's Patreon, that's special, and that one's only $3. Again, it takes very few dollars to get yourself into our hearts with these fun bonus episodes, friends.
Exactly.
Okay.
Spoiler
Our house
time?
clean enough? Yeah,
I think so. Let's get on to
absolutely.
spoilers.
I actually went and watched the graphic this time,
Yeah?
Kyle.
Well,
It's
what
a
did you
fun
think?
graphic. I like it a lot.
It's super short, has a little thing, and it's
Yeah.
big and noticeable. So
Mhm. It's like I can't see these things when you hit the button and make it happen. Like, it doesn't send it over Skype to me, so I have
yeah,
to
no.
watch the live stream later.
Exactly. Um well, yeah, let's dive into Gravity Falls then. If you haven't seen this show, go watch it. It's
Yes.
all on Hulu.
Yes.
You guys can watch it there. Um
Where do you wanna start? Because you
I
had
kind of want to
never seen this
start
before.
with I
What
kind of want to start with the Mystery Shack thing.
Okay.
Is that what they called it? The
Yes, the
Mystery Shack?
Mystery
Yeah.
Shack.
I really liked that they have
Yeah.
this that it's because like we also did an episode a while back on Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, and I think
Mhm.
that's a very similar show to
Yes.
this. But I think Scooby-Doo is very formulaic and very by the book, and I don't think even that show, as much as I loved that show, didn't really
Mhm.
deviate from that formula. It's like, okay, here's a mystery this week, we'll
Yeah.
solve it, and that's it.
Which is kind of
This
the point of it being a Scooby-Doo revamp, like, you
Yeah,
kinda want that formula to still be there.
yeah, and this has that, but it also
Mhm.
breaks it in the sense that you see their lives when they're also not solving
Yeah.
mysteries, and it's like, oh yeah, their uncle runs this store, and it's this complete I almost want to say disrespectful to what they're actually doing, but I don't think
Yeah,
that's the
like
right word. Like it's so cheesy and so cornball
mhm. Yeah,
that
and, like, one of his creations is, a unicorn made out of corn.
the
The
corn.
cornicorn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's this like they're actually trying to solve these mysteries. There's how are there still dinosaurs here in
Mhm.
this town? We don't know. Let's solve it and find out.
Yeah.
It's like they're actually solving some of these mysteries and exploring stuff that this book is kind of
Mhm.
revealing to them. And then there's Grunkle Stan, and he just has this shot, and it's almost like, I mean, he's just oblivious, and it's so funny, and it's
Yeah.
so stupid
Yeah.
just to see him do all of
Yeah, and
this
it's nice
stuff.
that there's not stakes. It's not like we can't let Grunkle Stan know what we're doing. It's like they're not going to get in trouble. They just know like, oh, he's not going to get it. Like let's just go about our own business. He's busy like marking up prices on t-shirts and keychains and
Yeah.
building new fake cryptids and stuff like that.
Yeah, because it's
And then
usually a mystery or something that they can't really cage or sell
mhm,
somehow without doing some kind of damage to the town or
yeah.
this or that, so he sticks to like I'll make a corn because I just have all this extra corn
Mhm.
lying around. So I really liked that aspect, and you get to see their home lives too.
Yeah, I like that what the Mystery Shack offers you is kind of a middle ground between like the summer job
Yes.
and like being totally free. Like this doesn't have the structure of a show where maybe the kids have like one set job or activity they always have to do, and they're also not completely freewheeling out there just doing whatever they want with their summer vacation. It's some semblance of like a stability and a structure there
Mm-hmm.
that you can use for an episode like Boss Mabel, for instance, or it can not really be in the episode at all.
Yeah. It very vaguely kind of reminded me of Ben 10. Um,
Huh.
it's
Okay, I
it's
see that.
it's a similar setup where they're on summer vacation,
Mm,
they go camping with their uncle, and then something happens and they find this device, and that leads them on their adventure.
mhm.
And here it's summer vacation, they're with their uncle, and they find this mysterious book, and that's what starts their adventure. So I liked that. I think it's a simple like premise and
Mhm.
story engine that if
Yeah,
that's the right word, of
I
just
think
like,
so.
hey, here's this thing that we know a lot of kids have experienced, something like they go to summer camp or they get a summer job or they go and
Mhm.
stay with family, something like that. And most of the time they're like, I don't want to be here, this is stupid, I want to go do something else. And yeah, here they are having this magical adventure, and it's like, oh, this is great.
Mhm. Mhm. It's fun, and I remember when the show was coming out, I read some interview with the creator where he was
Mm-hmm.
saying that he had written out like these rules for the story and like how stories were going to be told in this universe.
Yeah.
And one of the major rules was the kids always like each other. Like they can kind of jokingly make fun of each other and they can bicker a little bit and they can have rivalries and disagreements, but they are always ultimately friends and they're always on each other's side, which is great. And this is such a sweet, heartwarming story. And another one of the rules was that it's not just supernatural things. Like you have to have a real emotional story about the characters to go with it. Like he
Yeah.
says, you can't have a story about a goblin if there's not also something in there about like Mabel being insecure about her braces. But then you also couldn't have a story that's just Mabel being insecure about her braces. You also need a goblin in there. So it's
Okay.
this real meeting of coming of age, just teen growing up story
Mm-hmm.
and supernatural adventure. And those always have to go hand in hand.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because yeah, you get to see the sleep overnight. You get to see the like.
Yeah.
It's not school, the like school dance
Oh
thing that
yeah,
they
where he
do,
just
but
throws
it's,
a party at the
yeah,
Mystery
it's
Shack
just
to try
like,
and get kids to give him money for like entrance and sodas and things like that.
yeah, like we're gonna do an event at the rec center kind of
Hmm.
thing,
Yeah. Your dare dance.
Yeah. um yeah, like it has all of that stuff, and I think that was in on one hand, I'm almost wanting to say that that kind of outweighs a lot of the mysteries, but they don't.
No.
And it's a weird thing for me because I compared it to Scooby Doo, and that is only the mystery. You don't get to see Velma worrying about if people like her, her hairstyle that week,
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
like you don't get to see that. And I, on one hand, I feel like I liked that stuff so much more, because again, I'm someone who likes very well written characters and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So having those moments really draw me in, and having just that, like that mystery stuff is also what, like, I like both, because I like crime
Yeah.
stories, but I almost like the character stuff more. And so just me thinking about the show is like, I didn't see as much mystery as I might have liked, I think.
Hmm. I I think the show handles mystery very well, especially I'm going to say especially into the second season.
Okay.
The second season is all about who wrote those journals, like
Yeah.
how is everything connected, what's going on, and it gets a lot more mythology based instead of monster of the week based in season
Okay.
2.
That's cool. I think that would be my one, like, I guess complaint about the show
Mhm.
is I really like all of the stuff that they have there. I wanted a little bit more of the mystery stuff of like, where
Mhm.
are these books coming from? And then the last episode, you have this thing. Oh, Stan has one of the
Yeah.
books. We didn't know this whole time. Now he has all three, and he's activated some giant alien spaceship looking thing.
Mhm.
We don't know what it is, you know. Um, and then I was like, oh, that looks sweet. I want to know what that is. What are these books? You know.
Mhm.
So
You can just go right ahead and watch season 2 on your own time.
exactly,
I
that's what I'm gonna have to
it
do.
yeah, it's tempting for me to go back and rewatch all of it again too. Like there's so much good stuff in
Hmm.
season 2. What was your favorite episode of season 1?
Favorite episode?
Or favorite like monster or like mystery of the week kind of deal?
I kind of liked. I kind of well. I think my favorite episode was either the one when what's his name? The little guy that looks like Elvis and has the
Oh, little
pompadour.
Gideon.
Yeah, little Gideon. When he summons the like triangle demon thing, and
Bill
they go
Cipher.
into, yeah, and they go into Grunkle Stan's mind.
That's one of my favorites too. I love Xyler and Kraz. Like
They're so
they were so
terrible, but
I
it's funny.
that's the whole point of it
Yeah,
is that they're completely just like neon and vapid and they are only like preteen girl daydream fodder and
yeah.
nothing else. Like there's a lot of stuff like I haven't rewatched the show since it ended in I think 2016 is when it
Hmm.
had its series finale, like early 2016.
I'm
And I hadn't
surprised there's not more of it. I'm surprised it didn't keep going.
it was a situation where the creator wanted to end it when he was ready to end it because he's like, I am telling an overarching mystery. I'm telling
Cool.
this story of character growth and of this one summer. Like, it can't be too long. Like, 40
That's good.
episodes is about as long as it should be. And then he did release, there is a book of journal number 3 that you can buy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, my brother has a copy of it, and it's got like everything you see in the show, like all the monsters and all the cool town lore, and then also it's annotated with like notes from all the characters, so you get like whatever the writer of the journal wrote about a gnome, and then you've got Dipper's notes about a gnome hidden in
That's
there.
super cool.
Yeah, so the story is kind of continued in other ways, but yeah, it is just a neat in and out 2 seasons.
Cool. Good.
Mm.
Yeah, I always like when the creators can be like, nope, it's done. We're not
Yeah.
making any more. Because I remember watching it was Rurouni Kenshin, and they wrap up the story in the first 60 issues. Like that was all it was
Mhm.
supposed to be, and then the show just keeps going,
Well,
and it's like, well, this I don't like, everything is resolved now.
mhm.
Like I don't really care about any of this stuff. And then like it's one of those things where eventually you stay with the characters long enough that something else comes up. It's like, okay, I kind of like this stuff, but it was still just like, you should have just ended it right at 60.
Yeah.
Um and that's what a lot of people end up doing, I guess just because they get offered money, or it's
Mhm.
out of their hands, the IP gets bought up, or who knows what. But yeah. Melissa, you've gone
It's
robot-y on me. You're back
what? Am I
now.
back?
Yes, you
Oh,
are.
good.
If you can
It's only
repeat what you
temporary.
just said, though, that would be fantastic.
And I know there are a lot of TV shows that keep going because the team who's working on it is the same team the whole time, and they just
Mhm.
get really close, and whoever's in charge is like, I don't want to end the show and dissolve this team and leave these people jobless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that
a variety of
happens too.
reasons why a show can go on longer than the narrative feels like it needs to, but I do really appreciate and admire that this one just got in and got out and did exactly what it needed to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked the kind of mind hopping one because
Yeah.
I feel like that was one of the more darker ones,
Yeah, that
just
might be
because
the spookiest one in all of
he's
season 1.
summoning a demon,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
you know, and then yeah, you get a lot of the mystery of them using the books to actually solve this stuff. Because there's a number of episodes where they explore and they find some weird stuff, but they're not necessarily using the books
Mhm.
to solve them.
Yeah.
Or they're just like, oh, like I'm kind of familiar with this because I read about it in the book, and that's it.
Mhm.
It's not like, oh, now what does the book say? How do we solve it? Like I felt like they could have used that book more to solve the mysteries and stuff like that. But the mind one, they used it a lot, and it
Mhm.
had this not meta, but just this weird kind of sci-fi, hey, we're going into someone's mind and we're going to see all these memories and what that means for the characters when they just see partial memories
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So yeah, it was good.
Mhm, mhm. I love that episode. Like I said, I love Zyler and Kraz. Like, a lot of stuff has stuck with me over the years since I last watched the show, but them especially for some reason. I love those guys. I think another one of my favorite episodes is Fight Fighters, just because it's so absurd. Like, it's one of the wackiest episodes I think they're doing in this first season, and it's a
Yeah.
different kind of supernatural than most other episodes have. Like, it's about this video game that comes to life, and it's just this big pixelated polygon man who's
This
just a
knockoff Ryu from Street Fighter.
yeah, his name is
Knockoff Ken.
Rumble McSkirmish, and he's just following Dipper around town like, I am here to fight, to punch, need a power up, will ingest half a taco. I that one's really fun. And it is a different weird than the rest of the show is weird,
Mhm.
but it doesn't like stick out or feel odd or anything like that.
Yeah. I think the other one that's closest to it is the one when they break into the abandoned convenience store
Yeah.
because there was a murder there that happened. And so they get sucked up into the video games, they get sucked up into the food
Oh
and all of that
yeah.
stuff, and
There's
it's
also an
just
episode
like,
where they go inside a pinball machine. So
yeah,
there is a little bit of techno horror throughout the show.
yeah, of just like getting sucked into these quote unquote alternate dimensions, or
Mhm.
these things where they have to escape from. um it's one you wouldn't see on Scooby-Doo. Like they would
No.
always have the like, oh, it's just some guy in a mask type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
And
the mysteries in Scooby-Doo are very much like there is a culprit behind
mhm,
things.
there is a
Whereas this is
there's a
like
scientific explanation for this,
yeah,
as
whereas this
Dr.
is
Strand might say from the black tapes.
also a very fun mystery show.
Yes.
Th- This is a lot more of this supernatural entity just exists. There's nothing behind it. Now what do we do about it?
Yeah.
Like several times, for instance. Like, they're not trying to investigate how did you clone all of these humans? Like, where are you getting your
Yeah.
resources from? How do you do this? It's just about, oh, my favorite boy band where they all look alike, and that's because they are clones. Oh, no, well, that's fine. I get to
I
meet and
I
hang out with my favorite boy band
I
now.
will say that I idea for a story of like, yeah, there's this new boy band that's out, but they find out that they're all clones, and he can just like make more of them if they misbehave.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you're replaceable. It's like that to me was maybe the most like 90s or like 80s
Yeah.
like Saturday
Yeah.
morning cartoon type, and I
Mhm.
loved it. I thought that was like, oh, that's it's terrible, but it's amazing because of
Mhm.
how terrible it is. I love it.
And Alex Hirsch based a lot of the show off his real childhood. He has a twin sister.
Oh wow.
They would go like spend summers in Oregon with their grandpa. And that was, she's very much like Mabel, and that she was all like glittery and just loved like accessories. It was
Like
always
a pig!
crafting
Oh
things.
my god!
And she loved boy bands. So we kind of did that episode as a tribute to
Yeah.
her.
Well,
And
I saw on the Wikipedia page, I
mm,
think he's only like 33 or 34, so
he's
he's
a
not much
young guy. Yeah.
older than us. Yeah. So right around that time would be all the boy bands, all the
Mhm.
NSYNC and 98 degrees and all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
there's
So,
a lot of 90s influence on the show. Like, I think
mhm.
you can tell how much Twin Peaks is in this.
Oh yeah,
There's also a lot of Simpsons in this. The
that's one
comedy.
I wouldn't know.
I'm going to teach you, Kyle. Like, as soon as Disney Plus launches and you can go watch all of The Simpsons on there, I'm going to give you like an episode list that you need to get through to like for cultural enrichment. Yeah, there's the humor in this feels a lot like The Simpsons, especially
Mhm.
the joke signs, like how many joke signs and joke brands and products, and every time they're watching TV and it's just a weird thing for like 30 seconds, like,
What was the duck one? The
oh, Duck Detective.
detective. I loved that one. It's like, yes, that one's great.
My favorite one might be the baby carrier for pigs.
It works for pigs. Did you have a favorite? I don't really want to call it plot thread, but just like ongoing story that wasn't really like a mystery, so
Ah,
to speak. Just like something that was happening
mm.
in the show. If you know, does that make sense, or do I need to give you an
No,
example?
I like the growing social circle of the kids. How they've
Okay.
really just got each other when they get there, and then there's Seuss and Wendy, and then they meet Wendy's friends who are
Mhm.
all teens. Like they're like 12, about to turn 13, and Wendy and all her friends are like 15, 16, 17, and there's like I feel like a very realistic portrayal of we're kind of friends, but we know we're not really on the same level as them.
Yeah.
Like they're figuring that out. I love Mabel's two friends, Candy and Grinda, and then she's got like the frenemy Pacifica. Like I like the way the social circle kind of grows and expands. And how
Yeah.
like Mabel's got all these friends and like Dipper really doesn't. And so he misses quality time with her when she's like having sleepovers every night.
Hmm. I think my favorite thing was the rivalry between Dipper and I don't remember his name, but the
Robbie?
like, yeah, the emo guy that they were
Mhm.
both vying for what's her name's
Wendy.
affections. Wendy, I'm terrible with names, as you guys know.
These are very
Um,
easy names. These are normal names.
it's not that I can't pronounce them or stuff. It's just that they just don't stick with me.
I
I'm just
know.
like that one girl who also
You
works
know,
there.
the hat and
Yeah,
the hoodie guy,
yeah.
the him.
I liked the rivalry between
Mhm.
them, just because it was so stupid, just all of the stuff that they would do.
Yeah.
But then also I'm pretty sure that that's the same voice actor as Fred from
Yeah, it's that same guy again.
Hero 6, which immediately he was there. I was like, I know that guy.
Yeah, this is a voice we heard just a couple months ago when we did an episode about that movie.
Exactly, yeah.
I
Um,
do also really like Stan and Gideon's rivalry.
hmm
because I
They
feel
have the
like
like
that's
Jerry Seinfeld and Newman reference where it's just like Newman. I know you're up to
I
something.
I like that because you've seen like kid protagonists and like adult enemies throughout cartoons because it's like an adult supervillain and a child hero. I
Mhm.
don't know if I've ever seen an adult and a child be not enemies but rivals for something. Like it's a really interesting, very specific dynamic the two of them have that I've never really seen anywhere
It's
else.
the Gideon's whole character is just baffling to me because
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this took place in the Pacific Northwest, hence the like Twin Peak vibes and all the pine trees and all of that stuff. Hence
Yeah.
the character's name Pacifica Northwest,
Yeah, it
you
is
know, all
set in
of that
Oregon.
stuff.
Yeah.
But then Gideon is like straight Southern Baptist like TV evangelist,
Hmm.
but he's a psychic,
Yeah, he's a
which is the
little
like
kid
let's take
psychic.
that character, move him to the Pacific Northwest. Okay, since that's not the Bible Belt, what else could he be in a similar like
Hmm.
weird spooky vibe? What if he's a psychic? You know,
Yeah.
and it's like that's just how do you ever come up with that?
I
Like
like that he sort of brings this Southern Gothic aspect to all the other kind of
his
eeriness
accent is
going
so
on.
thick
Yeah.
too.
You know who that is? That's the creator of Flapjack.
Okay,
Yeah.
another cartoon that I have not seen.
Oh, you know who is in the show that you do know? One of the writers and like occasional bit part voice actors is one of the creators of Homestar Runner.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. The show also kind of a lot of the jokes did really remind me of Homestar Runner. Like there's a
yeah.
it's in the episode's called Land Before Swine where the pterodactyl takes Waddles away
Mhm.
and Stan let him, like he put him outside when Mabel said don't put him outside, he's an indoor pig. And then he's outside and he gets taken by the pterodactyl and Stan's lying to her and he's like, "Well, there we were both inside, both of us, and I was holding him in my arms with a baby bottle and I was nursing him with the richest of creams." And
With the
just that
richest of creams.
that phrasing sounds like such a strong bad thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that episode a lot too cuz it is this thing where something really bad happens. Like something
Hmm.
goes wrong for them. It's often like one of the episodes of like a superhero cartoon or something
Hmm.
like that, or a comic book where the hero's powers get taken away,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what this is for Mabel. Like her
Yeah.
pig gets taken away,
Hmm.
and it means everything to her. And so they go on this adventure to get it back, and yeah, you can see like uh Dipper and Seuss are there for the actual adventure. Like,
Hmm.
there's dinosaurs. We can capture these dinosaurs, and then Grunkle Stan is there. Like, I don't really want to be here, but I screwed up, and I kind of
Yeah.
need to fix this, and
Hmm.
I don't really know what's happening, but I'm gonna be here. And then there's Mabel, and she's just like, I need to get my pig back, and it just makes for this like wild adventure, like
Yeah.
almost Indiana Jones type of like,
Yeah.
we need to go like steal this thing from
Hmm.
this land before time.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Land Before Time.
Oh
I
boy.
I think I would watch that one.
I also like what the pool episode does for that.
Oh yeah.
I'm blanking out on the name of the pool episode, but Mabel is there because she's found out that the cute, mysterious boy who's always in the pool that she likes is a merman.
Yeah.
So she's there to like save her merman boyfriend, and Dipper's there because he's been hired as like a lifeguard and he's supposed to watch the place. And Stan is there because Gideon keeps taking his chair and he's like, well, I'll just show up overnight and then I will already be sitting in the chair by the time he gets there in the morning. And then Seuss has just been led to believe that the inflatable ducks are alive and he needs to free them.
Seuss is great.
Seuss is my favorite. He's so like neutral good. Like he's always upbeat and interested in things and just sort of
Yep.
charmed and curious. Like he's just always going, huh, huh, look at that. Wow.
Huh. So apparently, one of the writers on a couple of the episodes is named Aaron Springer.
Wow.
No relation to me, but
Huh.
there you go.
Neat.
Um, sorry, that was a random thing.
No,
I
that's
saw because
nifty.
I went to go see if I could find the name of the episode of the pool
I,
one. I think no, because that it can't be that one. Um,
is it called like the deep end or something like that?
I don't know.
I
Oh yes,
remember. Yeah.
yeah, the deep end.
Okay.
By
Okay.
that was episode 15 by
Yeah, because
Aaron Springer and Joe Pitt,
I was watching this while it was
or
coming out,
directed
so I
by.
remember seeing like a new episode of Gravity Falls called this, premieres next week. All my little cartoon news updates. So I remember most of these episodes titles still.
Yeah, and that's also the one we get the Free Willy reference.
Yeah, another very 90s thing.
Yep,
I want to talk
exactly.
about the town of Gravity Falls itself.
Good, I do too.
Yes, this is such a lushly built town and it has real history to it
Hmm.
and it's right on the edge of everybody being so inept you don't know how the town like continues to exist. It is a town.
Yeah, it oddly enough almost reminded me of Castle Rock when we
Mm.
watched that. That's obviously on the East Coast and more like the main area, but it has a similar vibe where like the town has this history of just weird things
Oh
happening,
yeah. And
and
they've
yeah,
just accepted it.
yeah, that's just this is who we are.
Yeah, like I
Welcome
love
to
the
Gravity
Pioneer
Falls.
Days episode where the guy marries a woodpecker.
Yeah, like what?
They're like, well, that used to be legal here, and actually, nobody ever took it off the books. It still is. That's his wife now.
Yeah, that's a good one. Um, so the thing that I wanted to mention about the town
Mhm.
is that I wished we saw more of it, both in the sense
Okay.
like I wished things happened in more distinct locations, as
Okay.
well as there was one scene, I think it was closer to the end of the show, where we get like a skyward down
Yeah.
view of the entire town, and we
Hmm.
can see the river, we can see the waterfall, we can see the bridge, we can see the mystery shack, like we can see all of it there. And I liked that because that gave me like a sense of where everything was happening,
Hmm.
so that later on down the road when or yeah, like in that episode, I think later on there's a scene where they're by the bridge, and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, so I know that they're like up there by
Yeah.
this one part, and I liked that, and I don't feel I don't feel like we got enough of that.
That would
It
be nice to get more of a geography of the town.
Yeah, it felt like it was in the mystery shack and then in like a nondescript
Yeah,
wooded
the woods
location.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do go places. There's the inconvenience store. The episode's called The Inconveniencing. Oh, the store is called Dusk to Dawn. Like they're in the pool. They go to like Lazy Susan's restaurant.
Hmm.
They go to that history museum. They do add more places to the town in season 2. Like there's I think there's some old mines or an old bunker, something like that. You go to the Northwest family mansion where Pacifica lives.
Okay.
There's a really fun episode about a miniature golf course.
Nice.
You get a little bit more in season 2 and you find out like why everything is so weird and
Yeah.
why everybody kind of writes it off.
Like I kind of just want to have like a map of where
That
all of this
that'd
stuff
be nice. There's probably a
is.
map somewhere.
I'm sure there is. But even like in the introduction of the
Yeah, just like
show.
yeah, just in the opening credits somewhere, they just flash on a map for a second. You
Yeah,
can
or I
pause
mean,
it and go
or
back.
again, they have these books filled with all these like mystery stuff of like, hey, here's this weird monster I encountered. Like, why doesn't Dipper have some kind of giant map of Gravity Falls with like
Yeah,
pins and all this stuff where he's seen, like, I saw a gnome here, I saw Bigfoot there, I saw a
that'd be nice.
pterodactyl there, Like, I feel like that's something he would do. Like, him and Seuss would have that in like the employee lounge or something. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah, that I'd like to have that too. I would like to have those grounding aspects to things, but there is so much detail packed into the show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine you tried to stop and investigate them, but you could tell there were codes all over everything.
I'm assuming there was that type of stuff. I didn't really look into
Did
it.
you when you were watching the episodes, did you watch to like the very end of like the little coda at the end of every episode?
Yes.
It would flash like some coded message up there, just like a bunch
Yeah.
of random characters or numbers. Yeah, like it had those at the end of
Interesting.
every episode. They're hidden in various other places. This is something Futurama would do a lot also. I think that's also a show you're
Interesting.
not very
I
experienced with. Yeah.
I'm not super. I mean, I'm more experienced with that than I am of a lot of
But you
other
could see
stuff.
that like there's like a distinct alien language they use for like signage and things in that world.
Yeah, I never really knew that there was a secret code though,
It's a real
if that's a
language. Like it
thing. But
wasn't I think it was secret to begin with, but then people like cracked it pretty easily.
because I
And then
watched it
they
when
had
it
to
first
invent like
came out, but I
more
was still
complicated
super young.
versions.
And
Yeah,
then
these are
yeah,
both shows that are full of codes,
that's
FYI. And
cool.
I've never. This is right where I'm at. This is like where I was with Lost too. Like I know everything is a code, and somebody out there has figured it out. And I might go look it up sometime. I'm not a code solver, but I like to know that there is a code somewhere.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
right. This is the kind of detective I am.
I like when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's always fun. I've never engaged with them. Like I wouldn't open up my copy of Artemis Fowl and try and figure out like the fairy
Didn't
code.
they
But
have
it was neat that it was there.
some contest with the Artemis Fowl one that, like, if you
You
broke it,
solved the
you could,
code, you
like,
got to be in the movie.
yeah, which is
And
only
then,
like now coming out in
and then
2019.
17 years later they're making the movie.
That's so funny. It's great.
Who were your favorite townspeople? Because that's one of the real strengths of the show is just all the little characters, like even if they're like kind of fleshed out, like Robbie, for instance, or if they've just got one or two lines, like they're all a delight.
I think it's a tie for
Mm-hmm.
me between the free pizza guy, the big fat guy with like the neck beard and the
Yes.
free pizza shirt. I loved him. He was like, "So you mean there's no pizza here?" He's like, "Oh, okay." He walks off because that's totally me. um, but then, because he showed up later on in the show. I forget what he was doing, but I was like, "Oh, it's the free pizza guy." But then there's the like, uh the he's like the skinnier gay guy that was really into the lumberjacks.
Oh, is this
I
Tyler? Is this the Get 'em guy?
it might be. Do you remember? I think it was when they were in the bar and they were doing one of the
Oh, I remember when they're in the
games,
bar.
and
I don't remember who else in it.
the lumberjack came up to do the game that no one else could,
Oh,
and he
right,
was
they're
about
in the diner.
yeah, when he was about to do it, this one character like ran up behind him. He was like, "Yeah, get it." She's like, "What in the world?" Like,
That's Tyler. No, he shows up throughout the series, and all he does is go, "Get him,
yeah, he's
get
like,
him," at like
"Get him."
various people who are going into some kind of altercation. He's just like, "Get him."
It
That's
just like that was the first time that I saw him, so I just assumed that he had a thing for like bigger burly men, and I
he
was like,
shows up
yes.
earlier than that, and that's kind of his general deal is just cheering on whoever. And that time it happened to be a big burly man.
Because, well, yeah, he did had it at another time too. I think it was it. I want to say it was the Fighters episode where again, like the fighter dude is this big muscular man. He's just like, yeah, get it. And I'm just like, oh god, this is a kid show. Like,
Yeah, I love him because he is just like, get him, get him. Like, that's it. That's the level at which this man exists all
yeah,
the time.
yeah,
There's the bit where he goes to the mystery shack and he's like, Puma shirt, Panther shirt, Puma shirt, Panther shirt. That's all he does. I love Toby Determined, the sad
yeah.
reporter, and I love the sheriff and the deputy,
They were
and
good too.
how much they unfalteringly love each other.
Yeah,
That is consistent throughout the entire series, and it's really lovely. I just
that's so
like that
funny.
no matter what trials and tribulations anybody else is going through, like those two are like the city's rock. Like
Hmm.
those two always have this bond. It
Yeah,
never breaks. Like they're always together and
that's
they're always
awesome.
like, ah, the real treasure is the time I spend with you. They're so earnest all
Yeah,
the time.
that's so funny. I'm glad that they're in season 2, just doing the exact same stuff.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Um, I don't know if I really have too much else to say
Like
with this
there's
show.
there's so much in it. It is like, well, we could go on for another hour. Like, yeah, it's hard to find what do we have 15 to 10 more
Yeah.
minutes about, and
What
not more than that.
what would you recommend if people liked this show? What other shows or comics or who knows what might they like?
I really would recommend Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a show that gets overlooked a lot, and it's not quite on the same level of Gravity Falls. Like, Gravity Falls has a lot more, like, sincere heart to it. It's a lot more cohesive. It's like this one contained, like, narrative arc of this coming of age story that also has supernatural stuff in it. And Mystery Incorporated, it's a Scooby Doo revamp. And it's got that kind of self-aware snarkiness in it as a Scooby Doo revamp. Like, it's kind of making fun of its history, but it takes that history and it makes it like
Yeah.
have real weight for once. Like, it's mystery of the week, but there is stuff going on beyond that. There is character growth beyond that.
There
They
is,
grow
yeah.
up and get mad at their parents, and there's this bigger mystery behind the town that some of the authority figures are in on. It's also a beautiful show. That's a really gorgeous cartoon.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
Yeah, definitely check that one out.
So I recommended
And
this comic. Oh,
this really
go ahead.
goes for no, I was gonna say this really goes for you and for anybody else. Go check out some Simpsons.
Yes.
Like
Exactly.
that is one of the main ingredients within the, like, Simpsons fan. I can see it, and I'd love for other people to watch the show and also get that same extra level out of it. Like, I listened to a podcast called Everything's Coming Up Simpsons, and the
Okay.
very first guest they had was Alex Hirsch, and he was talking
Oh,
about the
nice.
episode Who Shot Mr. Burns, which is like a mystery episode like this with lots of suspects and town lore and clues and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah,
That's
there's a lot
fantastic.
of that feeds into this. Yeah, so if you love the show and you just want to kind of see more of the stuff went into making it, go back and watch Simpsons. Missed it previously in your life.
Okay. Sounds good. Um, so I recommended this comic a couple weeks
Uh-huh.
ago when we watched Castle Rock. This is not a comic for
Yeah.
kids, but I think if you're older and you happened to like this show, I think you would like Nail Biter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a comic kind of about this one town in Oregon, where there was a number of serial killers that all came from that one town, and there is this mystery of just like, what is up with this town and why is all this stuff happening? But they, similar to the Mystery Shack, they have a murder store, and it is this like, yeah, this like wacky store where they have like t-shirts and keychains and all this paraphernalia of all of these like mysteries and stuff that the town has had. And it's both really tongue-in-cheek, and it's also it's a good horror story.
Nice.
That I think people would like.
I don't know if I'd ever pick it up, but I like that concept. I like that exists out there in the world.
Yeah. And then I kind of mentioned Ben 10. It's
I think that's a good recommendation.
I think that would be a good one too. Yeah.
That's a show I never watched growing up. Like and in hindsight, like I think I kind of slept on it. I think Ben 10 was better than I gave it credit for.
It is a phenomenal show. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, so go check out all of that stuff. I don't think I have any other recommendations.
I've got one more really quick.
For it.
This is an old Disney Channel show from like the mid 90s. Like I remember watching this when I was a little kid and we first had Disney Channel when I was like 8 or 9 years old. It did not last very long. I don't think it did very well because nobody talks about it anymore. This was a live action show called So Weird. And it was about this girl whose mother was like this singer-songwriter, and they would travel around the country on this tour bus while her mom did shows. And the girl had a website about supernatural happenings. And this is like a GeoCities website that she is running. This is probably maybe one of the first shows about a blogger of any kind.
Yeah.
She has this website she does about supernatural findings, and every town she goes to, she finds a new mystery or a cryptid or just something eerie that's going on. It's a lot like Eerie, Indiana.
Okay.
Or like the stuff you'd see in like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark, but it is this ongoing show with just like a monster.
I vaguely remember it.
I loved it, and it really just disappeared. But with Disney Plus coming out, I'm finally going to get the chance to watch this again for the first time in 20 years. I'm so excited.
Cool. Well, let's see. I guess it is my turn to
pitch time.
The pitches for next week.
Yes.
Of what we will do. Let me pull up my notes here, because I have stuff written down. 3 pitches. So we have or you specifically have a busy week. So I'm gonna pitch some smaller stuff, but we are hoping to do an episode of the Reactor Core on my mind just
Good Omens.
Exactly, on Good Omens.
The Amazon Prime series Good Omens, and instead of what we've done in previous Reactor Cores where like you and I have gone to see a movie and then we both come back and we talk about the movie, I'm gonna watch this whole show because it's based a book love. You're less interested in it, so you're not going to watch it, and I'm going to explain the thing to you, which sounds really fun.
So I'm just going to be like,
it's great. It's great.
Teach me, educate me.
Yeah. This will be a new challenge for us, but it also means like I have to pack 6 hours of watching time into my week that you don't.
Yeah. Well,
so I asked you to please be gentle with your pitches this week.
We don't necessarily have to record it next weekend. Is the thing, but we have that on top of a new episode of the review show for patrons, an exclusive one that we are wanting to do, as I mentioned at the housekeeping section on Mob Psycho 100 season 2. So we have some stuff coming up here, so I wanted to pitch some smaller, shorter things. Pitch number 1 is a manga. I wanted to read the first 2 volumes of that. It's on Comixology Unlimited, called Ace of the Diamond. And you and I had a lot of fun when we read Chowdown Champs. That was the first sports manga.
Oh, this is a baseball story, isn't it?
Yes,
I thought it was about
a baseball story. It
was like a
sports
Steven
manga.
Universe thing about like magical gemstones. Okay, it's a baseball
It
diamond.
is a baseball thing. Yeah. So I was like, hey, we've only ever done one sports manga. It might be fun to
Hmm.
check out another one.
Yeah.
So Ace of the Diamond. It's about this high school baseball, or I think middle school baseball player, and then he's about to go into high school, and he's being recruited for different high schools and stuff like that. And he's moving up to the big leagues and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's pitch number one, Ace of
Hmm.
the Diamond, volumes 1 and 2, which is available on Comixology Unlimited. Pitch number two, I'm gonna have to pull up like a Wikipedia page or something
Oh.
on this to explain exactly what it is.
Hmm.
Um, it is a Netflix original. I think it's a Netflix original film. They do that weird thing where some of them are Netflix originals and
Yeah.
some of them are just like it's a Netflix show or it's a Netflix film, and that's not
Mm.
necessarily a original.
Yeah.
Um, Here we go. Let me pull up the Wikipedia page on that. So, pitch number two is an animated film called Next Gen. It's
Mm.
a 2018 computer animated science fiction action film that is
Hmm.
based on the online Chinese comic 7723 by Wang Nima.
Huh.
Let's see, blah blah blah. Where is the plot? In the futuristic city of Grainland, where robots are created and built. A
Greenland.
grain, Grain.
Grainland.
Yeah,
Okay, like breads.
exactly. A young girl named Mai lives with her mother Molly, but when her father leaves them from losing his job, Molly fills the void with robots. And Mai subsequently becomes ignored and hateful of robots. And so I think she ends up having like a companion robot that like it I got some like Wall-E vibes from it. I
Hmm.
think it's gonna be like an emotional like she learns to love this robot and she learns to love her family and stuff like that. I think that's what it's gonna be.
Hmm.
Doop-a-doop. Should be good. I saw it on there last year and I just never checked it out.
Oh, I brought up the trailer. This is pretty cute.
Yeah, yeah. It looks like something you would see from like Pixar or from DreamWorks or something like that. But that is pitch number two, and I'm also gonna have to pull up the Wikipedia page for pitch number three here. This is also an animated film. This is an anime movie.
Uh-huh.
I've pitched this before on the show, but I can't
Oh.
remember if it was to you or if it was right before Paul left. It was right around that time. So
Hmm.
it would have been like
Okay.
when you first
All
joined
right.
the Whatnauts if I pitched it to you. This is called Flavors of Youth.
Oh,
It's an
you must have pitched this to Paul because I don't remember. That's a weird title, and I don't remember it.
This is an anthology. The film
Oh.
separates into 3 separate storylines or segments. One is called The Rice Noodles, one is called A Little Fashion Show, and one is called Love in Shanghai. Um, and it seems to be a collaboration between a Chinese studio and a Japanese studio, which I thought
Hmm.
was interesting.
Yeah.
And it seems to have won a bunch of awards. I think the Japanese studio that made this was the same people that made the movie Your Name, which I know is very critically
Oh,
acclaimed.
my brother loves that. Okay.
Yeah, so I saw this on Netflix
This is
almost a year ago.
beautiful.
Yeah, and it looks fantastic. It's a little anthology series. It looks like it's all separate stories that all take place, I think, within I want to say within the same city, but I'm not certain of that.
Mhm. Three
I
cities.
I oh, all
It
right, cool.
the trailer is telling me. Three cities,
There
three
you go.
stories.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
it is on Netflix. It is
Mhm.
labeled Flavors of Youth International Version. I don't know what that
Yes.
means.
Neither do I. It might mean that they have the English dub
Oh.
on that one. Who knows? Um, but yeah, that's what I wanted to check out. Pitch number 1 was volumes 1 and 2 of Ace of the Diamond. It's a sports
Mm-hmm.
manga. Pitch number 2 was Next Gen. It's a little animated computer animated film about robots and this young girl. And pitch number 3 is Flavors of Youth, an anime film by the creators of Your Name, along with
I
another studio.
I want to go with Flavors of Youth. Yeah,
Okay.
James was just raving to me about Your Name, and I watched a little bit of the trailer. This looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's very pretty. If it's going to Shanghai in one segment, that sounds like a fun little animated mini vacation. I would just like to watch that city for a little while.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
we
good to
haven't
me.
done an anthology on here before, I don't think. We've not
I
done
don't think so.
a film anthology. We did
Yeah.
like Essex County, the comic that's kind of an anthology. I don't know if we've
Yeah.
done an anthology movie before.
Well, there's always a first.
And if I am wrong about that, then next week you will hear me singing the Stan is Wrong song. I'm Stan and I was wrong. I'm singing the Stan is Wrong song.
That's so funny. Yeah, so that is what we will do for this next week. Flavors of Youth. You guys can watch that on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be good. I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Well, folks.
Melissa, where can they
Yes.
find you on the interwebs?
You wow. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I just like coughed in the middle of that. That was just usurped my entire plug session. Oh, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WILKYWIT.
And you can
That's it.
find
That's the end of
me
those characters.
exactly. And you can find me at Yo Kyle Springer on both Twitter and
Mm-hmm.
Instagram. If you guys want to get updates for this podcast as well as any of our other shows, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. TheWhatnauts.com is our website. You can find all of our shows there as well as more information. Patreon.com/TheWhatnauts is where you can support us. $1 a month will get you access to the live streams of this show as well as all of our episodes early. The $3 tier will get you any exclusive content that we might be doing. And we would like to give a big shout out to the patrons at our $5 tier.
Yes.
So thank you, Sam, and thank you, Christine, for helping us keep the mics on, keep the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
It helps us out a ton. Thank you guys so much for that. I believe that's it. Should we get out of here?
Yep. We
Let's
should
do it. We will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching and or listening to this. We will see you next week. Adios.
Bye.
Thank you so much for checking out that episode of the Whatnauts review show. We hope you liked it as much as we had fun recording it. If you guys liked Gravity Falls, leave some comments below. Let us know what your favorite parts were. And in the meantime, go subscribe to our channel up there. We have more podcasts like this one down here. It might be from one of our other shows, it might not be. Who knows?